Hello, how are you? My name is Chris Quinlan and welcome to an episode of The Drum Show. What this episode is all about is using triggers to evoke influences, using triggers to create sounds that make you want to play for hours and all that sort of stuff. As I've done in the past, I have triggers, I put them into an interface unit, I have some homemade triggers, and through the USB I take it out into my computer, use basic technology that we all have at home on our computer. And what I did the other week was I triggered the ghost of Primus. I did a double bass patch on my computer, and next thing I know, it made it sound like Primus to me and the great Les Claypool. Fiddling around a little bit more, and what I've got here is what's called a Bansuri flute, which is an Indian flute patch. And what I'm doing, as soon as I put that on and started playing with it, I suddenly got this overwhelming feeling of, man, this is the stuff Robert Fripp uses. You know, this kind of thing. Can you hear it behind me? Fantastic. I've got it fairly sensitive, so it's even, you know, bringing up different things, like even if I'm clapping, you know, sort of thing. Because what I'm trying to do is bring up, it's called crosstalk. It's usually considered a bad thing, but oftentimes you can actually use it when you're playing with things like threshold patterns and things like this. I don't want to get too technical, but what I'm talking about is this Bansuri flute. It's actually a Bansuri pad, and what a pad is like a synthesizer texture kind of thing. And by doing this, I can start to evoke a really ethereal quality, you know, very, very atmospheric. Now, I am a huge King Crimson fan from way back. Essentially, Robert Fripp is an English guitarist who is the founder and leader of the great King Crimson as a band, and they've been going since 1968 in all sorts of different incarnations, and they basically get together, make a couple of albums, usually three. It's usually in groups of three. And then they split up again. And then they get back together, then they split up, and all this sort of business. What I love about King Crimson is their sense of courageousness in their experimentation, okay, and improvisation. And I'm very influenced by the way that you can go from some of the most complex kind of odd time signatures and things like that King Crimson are famous for, and then move into the most ethereal of ambient sounds. And this is something that Robert Fripp is very famous for, is his term back in the coined back in the 1970s was called Frippatronics. And what Frippatronics is in the day, Robert Fripp would get two reel-to-reel tape recorders, and essentially, instead of them just one reel, he'd loop the tape to the next reel, and it would create this long echo effect, you know, and he would just build up guitar sounds and build them up until he got the guitar orchestra. And he's very famous for that, and some of the music that he has created with that is quite a grand contrast to some of the intricately woven rhythms that King Crimson, the band, have been able to put together over their, you know, long history. Some of the famous drummers, this is a drum show after all, but some of the famous drummers of King Crimson are Bill Bruford, Pat Mastoletto, and for a while they actually played together in what was called King Crimson's double trio, six-piece, and basically they split the band up into 2 sections of 3. And some of the interweaving of the different patterns were really quite amazing. And of course then when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with things that I've explained on the show in the past, such as polymeter. You know, someone's playing in 7, someone else is playing in 5, and someone else is playing in 4/4. One of the more famous ones, I suppose, of that was Frank Zappa. Ian Underwood whips it out, I believe, is what it is, and Toads of the Short Forest off of the Whistles Rip My Flesh album and all that, where you get multi-layered time signatures. King Crimson made it an art form, and Robert Fripp is being the leader of King Crimson. The band itself creates all these textures while you've got things underneath that are becoming quite complex. Over the top you have these wonderful pads of Frippatronics over the top, and it's wonderful sort of thing. And this is really what I'm talking about tonight, within the context of me being able to create these textures through triggers, okay? More after the break.